Hi everyone and welcome. I'm Wanda from Sam Josiah. Today we're going to be making this cute fishbone chevron bracelet. So for this tutorial, we're going to start by making this loop, and then we're going to make this one color teardrop. I don't have a single tutorial for it yet, but you'll see how I'll show you how to make it in this video. And then after that, after making this teardrop loop, we are going to make 3 chevrons. So we're going to make 1, 2, and then we'll now make this part. This part, I don't think you can see it much, but this part that is this whole color something. Then after that, we'll start again and make white, color, and then white. Then we have this one again. And towards the end of the bracelet, I will show you how to segment knot this. I would really not row by row, but for the beginning, I make the loop, then I make 2 chevrons, and then I make this part. Then I'll show you how to segment knot after. And I show you how I make this end. If you can see this, I make triangle ends here, but I don't make them. I think they look a little different. You can see this one is quite different from this one, because this one was a bit rough around the edges, but this one is smoother. And I made braided ties because I feel like since I have a lot of white, braided ties make sure the colors are split evenly, but you can make whatever ties you want to make. Okay, then let's get right into the tutorial then. Now while you're making this bracelet, you are going to need, we're going to fold all our strings in half. So you're going to first get 4 strings of white for this part, then get 4 strings. I have 1 string of peach, 1 string of gray, 1 string of green, 1 string of dark green, and 1 string of burnt orange. So 4 strings of white and 1 string of each color, and we're going to be using 4 colors for this bracelet. So as you can see, this is 1, 2, 3, and then this is 4. If you like to choose gradients, I didn't want to, but I made this. This is for 4. So getting started with the loop, we're going to fold it in half, hold the middle, then make backward forward knots like what I am currently doing on the screen. Now I'm going to make another backward forward knot, which is half a backward knot and half a forward knot. And now I just skipped ahead. I'm going to make a half, then I will stop there. Okay, I've made that half already. So I'm going to show you how to make the other parts, which you can see on my loop. So have your strings arranged according to how they want them to, then take it down. Now we're going to make the thread drop part of our loop. We're going to make it with 1 color though. So now we have arranged our string how I want it to be. I've already removed the first green I want out, and I'm going to make a backward forward knot over the remaining string. Now I'm going to remove a white from it because it's going to be green, then another color, then white. So now make another backward forward knot after you remove the white string from the bunch. Remove the next one, which in my case will be dark green. Now proceed to make another backward forward knot. Now I'm going to remove the white string. I'm going to make a backward forward knot now that I've removed that. We're going to remove the orange string, right? Yeah, orange string, which will be the next in our color. And we're going to make a backward forward knot after removing that. Now we are going to remove our white string, but we're not going to make a backward forward knot. We're going to make a backward knot because we want our white to end up in the middle. So we're going to make a backward knot, which means our white will end up on the left string. Now that we're done with this side, we're going to just remove our tape and flip it to the other side and do something similar. But instead of backward forward knots, we're going to be making forward backward knots. So we remove our light green string, make a forward backward knot. Remember, you have to follow the exact order you followed on the other side here so that as to not to as not to mix up the colors. So remove our white string now. Okay, so we're going to remove our white string, and now we're going to make another forward backward knot. Remove the dark green string, make another forward backward knot. Remove the white string and make a forward backward knot over the bunch. Now we're going to remove the orange string and make a forward backward knot. Now remember that when we remove our last white string, we are not going to make a forward backward knot. We're going to make a forward knot over our pitch string so that our white string that we're currently using ends up in the middle. Now we're going to, now that we've finished with our teardrop loop, this white makes our first row of white, and we're supposed to have connected the two white strings in the middle, but I'm going to do that when I'm done with my green strings on the side. So now we're going to take our green string on the edge and make, we're going to make 6 backward knots over it. That's 1 backward knot over each color of string until when we get to the one before the white in the middle. I've added extra tape because I don't know why my string always comes off when I am knotting on a table. So we're going to make 6 knots until when we get to the peach colored string. Now remember to follow the order of colors, and please do not mess up the colors, because if you do, then the pattern gets messed up, because it's supposed to be a chevron and it's supposed to follow an exact pattern because it's a fishbone and it's not a scattered fishbone, so it has to follow the exact patterns too. So now that we've gotten to the middle, I'm going to make my middle knot, which will be the 2 white knots. I'm going to make a forward knot there. So I'm just going to pull them together, make the second half of the forward knot, and then I will knot on top of that. There, so pull tight and fast there. Now use the green string and make 1 backward knot over the white string closest to it. There. Now in case you've noticed, we were supposed to have made 7 backward knots, but I made only 6 because I had not knotted onto the white to that point, but I made 7 in total. Now with the one on the left, we're going to make 8 forward knots because we're going to make a forward knot over the green string that's in the middle now. And I will meet you when you are done with that half. Now that we are finished that part, we're going to use the white strings and we're going to do 7 backward knots on the right with our white string. Now if you notice, this looks exactly like a chevron, or this is how you make a chevron pattern, and yes, it does actually. Now that we've done the first white, the color, and the second white, it's time for this other part, which has the colored side. So now we're going to take 3 strings on the right. We'll take the 3 strings there, and then we'll use the dark green and make 1 backward knot, and over the orange string, which is the second string, we're going to make 1 backward forward knot. So we're making our backward knot now, and then we're going to make a backward forward knot. Now we'll drop the string that we currently use and pick up the one we just knotted over, which in my case is the orange string. Then take the two strings beside that string and make one backward knot and one backward forward knot. So now I'm currently making my backward knot, and now I'm making my backward forward knot. Now drop that string that we just made a knot with and pick up the one we just knotted on top of. And we're going to take the next two strings beside it and make a backward knot and a backward forward. Now I apologize, I think the footage of this got lost of where I made the other side of the white. So just make the white part, then make the second half, which is what I'm doing. So taking the three strings, we're going to make one forward knot and one forward backward knot. Drop that current string, pick on the one we just knotted on top of, which is orange again in my case. Take the two strings beside that and make a forward knot and a forward backward knot on the next one too. And I'm sorry again for not showing you how I did. All I did was just to complete the white part of the chevron, and then I made the green part go one knot over that. So make a forward knot and a forward backward knot, and then I will show you what I have done on the other side. I just wish the clip didn't get missing. Now that we've made a forward backward knot, you can notice that we're going to make, with the green string, we're going to make two forward knots, because if you can look well, you'll see that I have already made a backward knot over the white string, the white part of the chevron, well, which was in the middle. So don't worry if you don't understand this part, I'll show it to you later again in the video. So taking the white string on the edge, we're going to make 7 backward knots. And I think that after making a few knots, I will just speed it up, because I assume you already know what you're supposed to be doing, so that I can show you the part that got missing. Now this white part is like the beginning part where we did our teardrop in white color. So this is the first white color, because remember we're going to do one white, then one color, and then one white. So taking the right, going to the left side, taking the white string there, we're going to make 7 knots. So you're going to make 8 forward knots over each, so that's 1 forward knot over each string. So when we are done with this white part, it completes our, well, where we started from when we were making our loop. So we'll just get right into it. We're making the other color, which now will be dark green. So with our dark green string, we're going to make 7 backward knots on the right. Going to the left, we're going to take the green string on the edge and we're going to make 8 forward knots. Now taking the one on the right, we are going to make 7 backward knots, and after making the 7 backward knots, I'm going to show you how I segment knot this. it might be a bit confusing, so if you don't want to watch it, then you can just maybe just skip to the end when I'm done with it. But I think segment knotting makes your knotting faster, so you should consider learning that, especially if you are a beginner. Now we're going to take the 3 strings on the edge of our right, which is our orange, white, and our peach. Now we're going to take 2, we're going to make 1 backward knot over the first string, and on the second string we're going to make a backward forward knot. A backward forward knot, then drop that string we were knotting with, pick up the last one we knotted on top of, take the next 2 strings beside it and make a backward knot, and then a backward forward knot. Drop that one, pick the one we just knotted on top of and make a backward knot there, and then make a backward forward knot onto the last one. Now push that white string, the one we just knotted on top of, and the white string, push that to the left because it's not a part of what we're going to be knotting on for our next part. Now taking the string on the edge of the right, we are going to make 5 backward knots. We're going to make 5 backward knots. We're going to stop, if you can look at my colors, we're going to stop on the light green string, so that's 5 backward knots. Now we are going to go to our left side. Do not worry, don't be confused. So now going to our left side, we are going to make 8 forward knots. So our forward knots, we're going to use the white string and we're going to make 8 forward knots, which is going to end on the white string currently in the middle. If you can remember earlier that I forgot to show this part because the clip got missing. I think I forgot to press camera because I was pausing and playing. So I'm just going to show you what I did instead, and it's still the same step. So we're making our last forward knot. Use that string that we just made the knot with, and then take the one on the left, the dark green string, and make a backward knot on top of it, just 1 backward knot. There. So now use our white string and make a backward knot on top of that same string. So now look at it. So we're going to make 1 forward knot, 1 forward backward knot on our left hand side. So we're just going to finish that part and I'll get back to you. Another forward knot and then a forward backward knot using the same colored string. Now our last forward and forward backward knot. Our last forward and then a forward backward knot. A forward backward knot. And then we're going to make 2 forward knots. I think I showed you this part, so we're going to make 2 forward knots now. And then when we're done, we're still going to hold on to that string because we're going to use the white one to make 1 backward knot over it. And there, we are done with one whole white section. So just remaining for us to make the white on the left hand side. So now taking the white string on the edge of the left, we are going to make 8 forward knots. And after doing this, I'm going to, well, I think you can pause the video or come back to it, but I'm going to show you how to make triangle ties after I finish making this, well, chevron. And I sped it up a little. And that is it for today's, well, for the main tutorial. Just now I'm going to show you how to make the ends and just continue with the steps. Doesn't matter what order the colors are in, doesn't matter what colors are on the edge, just remember that you have 2 whites. That's all. So